So here we have introduction to Java. Java was developed by James Gosling. This is a high-level programming language, and this was developed at Sun Microsystems in 1995. Java follows this write once, run anywhere. This means that if you develop a program in Java and after it is compiled, then that bytecode can be executed on any platform that supports Java. This is write once, run anywhere. Means once we will write down, after it is compiled, that bytecode which get converted after compilation, that will be executed on any system. Now to write down any Java program, we need some editors. Now the editors where we can write down the Java codes are like Notepad, Eclipse, NetBeans, JCreators. Many more are there. Now we will learn Java using an integrated development environment, that is BlueJ. So this is BlueJ where we will learn. Now this is BlueJ was developed mainly for educational purposes, and this is very helpful for students to understand Java in a very simple way. Here we have some features of Java programming language. It is simple. The code which we write down in Java is not a complicated one, so any new user can very easily understand Java. It is distributed. This means that programs written in Java can be executed in distributed environment. Means at distant places this can be handled by Java. Then we have the secure. This means that Java codes which are written, they are highly secured and they can be protected from any malicious users. Then it is platform independent. This means that the program once written in Java and after it is compiled, that bytecode can be executed on any system which supports Java. Then we have robust. Robust is a term which means strong. So Java is robust because this has a very good capacity of handling errors during execution, and this utilizes strong memory management. That is why this is very strong, this is very robust language. Then the next point is it is architecture neutral. Many programming languages you will study that they depend on the architecture of the system in which it is developed, but Java codes, they are architecture neutral. It doesn't depend upon the architecture of the system. Why? Because the object file which are created after compilation of Java code can be executed on any system. And the next point is also similar one. Portable means once a program developed in Java and once it is compiled and converted into bytecode, that can be executed on any system. So it can be moved to be executed on any system. Then this supports multi-threading. This means that the Java program can handle multiple processes or multiple threads at the same time. Then our next point is this provides high performance. Means the Java codes can give you the output at a very limited amount of time, and this is because Java uses just-in-time compiler. Now what is this just-in-time compiler? This compiler helps the compiler to compile the code on demand basis. We know that in a program there can be many methods, but only those methods are called which are required to be executed, and that is why this will provide output at a very less amount of time and its performance will be very good. Then the next point is it is object oriented. This means that Java supports class and object, and this can be used to represent real life problems very easily. So these are some of the features, some of the important features of Java. Next, here you have all the points which are written. If you want to go through this point, then you can pause the video and go through this. Next, we know that there are many Java programming paradigms. In one of my previous video, I had told you that there are many ways of writing down program. Here we will study about object oriented programming. And this object oriented programming, these are those programming languages which are based on the concept of class and object. And here many object oriented programming languages, these are based on many concepts like polymorphism, inheritance and all. So we will study about them one by one. So first one is polymorphism. Poly means many and morphism means forms. So many forms. This is the meaning of polymorphism. Now what is this? Here you can see in this picture that there is this area, this is a method. In any programming language, if you see a name and in front of that if you see two brackets, so that is a method. Method means this will have some statements which can be executed to give you some output. So here you can see that area is a method, and here this same method is used to find out area of circle also, area of triangle also, and area of rectangle. This is polymorphism, means same method is used for different tasks. So how this happens? This happens by the help of different type of signature and declaration of this method. Now what is that? Inside this methods you will have some arguments which we will study about. We will pass some variables which we call them as argument inside this function, so inside this method. So that will be different, and by the help of this difference only the compiler will be able to differentiate between the methods. So here you can see that the same method name is there, but they are performing different tasks. This is polymorphism. So this refers to the ability of an object to take on many forms. It promotes OOPS programming languages to differentiate between entities with the same name efficiently. Now how this differentiation is done? This is done by the help of the signature and declaration of these entities. Means how they are declared, by the help of that only they will be differentiated. Then our next point is encapsulation. Now to understand this, here we have a figure. Here you can see that this is a class which is having some properties and method. Now this properties means this is having some data and methods. So inside this class you can see that properties and methods are embedded, means they are closed inside a class. This is encapsulation. So encapsulation is defined as the wrapping up of data and methods which work on that data under a single unit. So they are encapsulated, they are kept inside the class, and this is why this is how this can provide data hiding, because the data and methods are encapsulated inside a class. Now here you can see that how a class is declared. This is the keyword to say that you are creating a class. Here you have to write down a class name which is user defined, means you can put any name. Inside the class you can see that inside this braces, here you have the data members, member functions, and here the class is closed, means the inside this class both these details are enclosed, and this is how data hiding, means this data can be protected from external user. Then here we have some details about method. Just now we saw that a class consists of method and data. Now what is method? Method is a collection of statements that perform some specific task and return result to the caller. Means the person who is calling, or the object which is calling the method, that will return some result to the object. So method is a collection of statements which will perform some task and will give you some result. Now this method, it will have it has some 6 components are there. Now what are they? We will study them one by one. First is access modifier. Access modifier means how this method can be accessed in your application. There are 4 access specifiers, that is public, means if it is declared as public, if a method is declared as public, then this will be accessible in all class in your application. Means in your application, if you're developing any application, in that application you can have several classes. So if a method is declared as public, then that method can be accessed in all the classes in that application. Then protected, if you declare any method as protected, then that method will be accessible only within the package and in its subclasses. Now you will study about what is package and subclasses in detail in the next slides. Then if it is declared as private, then this will be accessible only within the class in which it is defined. So if it will be only accessible in the class itself where it is defined. Then here we have default. Default means if you don't declare any, if you don't write down any access modifier to your method, then that will be considered as default and that will be accessible within the same class and package within which the class is defined. Now what is package? Package means this is the collection of classes which are doing the same kind of task. You will study about this later on, just now. Then the next one is return type. Return type means your method will return a value. So what kind of data it will return, that is your return type. Then the next one is your method name, obviously the name which you provide to the method. Parameter list, inside the method you can have some parameters, some data can be passed inside the method. Then here we have exception list. When if your method throws any exception, so that is also defined in that method. Then the method body. Method body means what statements or what code it is going to execute, that will be defined inside the method's body. Now if you have not understood any of this point, you will understand when I will show you the syntax, how it is written. Here we have the syntax of writing down a method. This is the modifier, means this is public. Just now you came to know what is public. Public means it will be accessed outside the class in which it is declared. In all the classes of that application it can be accessed. So this is the modifier. We have 4 modifiers, just now we studied. Then this is the return type, means this method will return integer kind of data type. This is the method name. This is the method name, whatever name you provide to the method. Then inside the method, inside this bracket here, you can see these are the parameters which are passed, that is int x, int y. So these are the parameter list. And inside the braces, here you have some statements which need to be executed. This is called as the body of the method. So this is all about method. Just now I told you about package also, that method can what is package in the, when I was explaining about method, and in the access modifiers you came across this word package. So what is a package? A package is a group of similar types of classes, interfaces and sub packages. So package in Java can be categorized in 2 forms. It can be user defined or built-in package. Built-in package means these are those package which are already system defined, and we can also create our own package which is called as user defined package. Here you have some system defined package, that is lang, util, io, applet, net, awt, many more packages are there. I will make a separate video for this package and then there you will study in detail about package. Then we also came across a word, that is exception, means if any exception is there in a method, then that is also declared by that method. Now what is an exception? An exception is an abnormal condition. In Java, an exception is an event that disrupts the normal flow of the program. So it is an object which is thrown at runtime. So if your program is going to give any abrupt or any abnormal condition, if it comes across any abnormal condition, like suppose if you are trying to divide a number by 0, that will be an exception. So that must be thrown up by the method. So this is what is exception. Then here is our next feature of object oriented programming, that is message passing. These objects can communicate with one another by sending and receiving information to each other. Now, if you are creating any class, that class can have many objects, and these objects can communicate between each other by sending information to each other. This is what is message passing. Here is our next feature, that is inheritance. Now, what is inheritance? Here you can see in the picture we have, there are many other more kinds of inheritance, but these are some of the basics one. This is single level inheritance, this is multiple level inheritance, this is hierarchical inheritance. Now, what is this? Inheritance means to acquire some features from the parent class. This what happens in our real life also. We know that we acquire some features from our parents acquire some features from their parents. So this is what is there in Java or any object oriented programming language. This means that some features of a class can be acquired by any other class. Now here in this, I will try to make you understand by this diagram. Suppose this is a class A. You know that a class, it has some methods and data. Now suppose this is having some method which needs to be accessed by this class also, that is class B also. Then instead of writing the same method again, what this class will do, class B will try to inherit class A. Then this will try to acquire some features of class A. This is inheritance. Now the class, this class is known as the super class or the base class or parent class. Means from the class, this is that class from where another class will inherit some features. And this class B which is trying to inherit some features from class A, this is called as the subclass or the derived class, or we can also call it as a child class. Now why this inheritance is happening? This is happening to reuse the code. Means instead of writing the same code again and again, that code can be reused by the method of inheritance. Now when you will study about inheritance, you will study about all these details with different kinds of inheritance. You will study over there. So this is inheritance. Then our next feature is data abstraction. Data abstraction means, now suppose if you are driving a car, you know that in a car you have an accelerator, you have a brake. You know that when you will put on the accelerator, your speed will increase. If when you put on the brake, your car will stop. But do you need to know that how this accelerator or how this brake is working? Because this is not required for us. So we need only those details which are required for us. For instance, suppose over here you see this boy is trying to access the ATM. So what he does is inserting the ATM card and he can do any operation over here. So what all details he require? He require only the interface over here from where he can withdraw his money, he can do any transaction with his account over here. But does he need to know the details that how these are functioning, that how this ATM is functioning? So these details are not required by a person. So this is what is data abstraction. This data abstraction is the property by which only the essential details of an object are displayed to the user, and the rest non-essential data are not displayed to the user. This is data abstraction. Means all the irrelevant data are hidden. They are not required to be displayed. Then here we have the next feature, that is a class. Class, we studied, we came across class. This is a user defined blueprint or prototype from which objects are created. So from class we can create many objects, and this class consists of several components. These components are like this consists of modifier. Just we know what is public, private or protected. Then the class should have a class name. If it is a super class, then it is mentioned. If it is an interface, means if a class is implementing some interfaces, so that means that needs to be declared. So about this we will study later on. Then body of the class, what that class contain, that is declared inside the braces. So here you can see this is an example of a class which is public class student. Over here this is the modifier, this is the keyword to say that this is a class, and this is the class name, and inside this has data, and this has some methods, and it is enclosed or surrounded by this braces. Here you can see that this is a class student, and this class can have many objects. So this is a blueprint or prototype from which many objects can be created, and this student class is having this data and methods. Now what is an interface? Just now you came across that if a class is having interface, then that should be declared, implemented by the class itself. Now what is an interface? In brief only I'm going to say, because in detail you will study later on. An interface in Java programming language is an abstract type that is used to specify a behavior that classes must implement. So if you want a class to implement something, that is defined or that is done by the help of an interface.